Sometimes we forget why we're here. It's easy to fall off track. These help us remember.
These battle scars don't look like they're fading, don't look like they're ever gone away. They ain't never gonna change. These battles.
Growing up I had a dream, something no one else could see. Tell me what it means when your faith is falling beneath your knees and you can't breathe. Everything you see reminds you of what you're not or something you won't be. You gotta take what you're given, that's how we live it. Don't be mad at the system, it's simply how we've existed. I hear a lot of people talking like they politicians and choose to be an accountant because it's safe in a business. Not because they wanna do it, just because they heard it pays. And who the fuck wants to be poor knowing that's how we've been raised? Society is getting heavy, I can feel the weight. The pressure of success is like 100 million pounds of shame. And that's the reason I'm staying up late, trying to find a way to escape the stereotypes this day and age is making me feel like the only way I'll be happy is getting signed to a label and making money through rapping. I wanna share my emotion because this world is attacking the very principle of life that lets the people be happy. If you don't have a reason to breathe, why even live? These battle scars are impressions of everything that it is.
Don't look like they're fading, don't look like they're ever gone away. They ain't never gonna change. These battle scars don't look like they're fading, don't look like they're ever gone away. They ain't never gonna change. These battles.
Now, if I had a voice that reached 100 million people, I'd tell them there's a reason that we're all created equal. Cause some decide to be great and some decide a sequel to an average person's life is simply what they want to be. So you make your decision, all I know is what I'm given. Won't define the life I lead or the way I dwell in existence. I've seen a greater image on the walls of where I'm living, and the words twisted and scripted remind me of something written. Faith is a gift that is given down to the people. If one believes it, one receives it. It's given if it is needed. Don't ever think you're trapped in a life that you never wanted. Your options are infinite, that's some mathematical logic. I'm not saying I'm a prophet, I'm speaking for what it's worth. These lyrics define my prayers and these battle scars on my church. Not saying I'm a prophet, I'm speaking for what it's worth. These lyrics define my prayers, these battle scars on my church.
Don't look like they're fading, don't look like they're ever gone away. They ain't never gonna change. These battle scars don't look like they're fading, don't look like they're ever gone away. They ain't never gonna change.
Oh, for a second I didn't think my screen was working. Oh, and I forgot to put up I have a Christmas bunchie. Dave Davis sent me a Christmas bunchie, and I completely forgot about it. How are you guys doing? I hope you are doing well. And I see JJ's comment. Thank you, JJ. I am feeling better, but not 100%. Definitely not. Been a rough week. And not the way I want to lose 5 or 6 pounds, but, you know, there you go. So, I wanted to get back in the saddle tonight, though I'm super, super tired and probably going to go to bed right after this. I said I was going to stream on Thursday, so here I am, streaming on Thursday. So first, let's do the YouTube stuff, and welcome to everyone else who is here who just hasn't had a chance to comment. The YouTube stuff, please subscribe. I don't normally, no, I don't want to update my computer now. No, I don't want to update Ecamm. I'm in the middle of streaming and it's asking me if I want to update the program I'm using to stream on. Okay, that's really intelligent. I hope the update has an update that keeps it from asking you to update while you are streaming. That would be great. And hey, Richard, how are you? Okay, so yes, please subscribe, like, and share. I would really, really appreciate it. And also, you can follow me on all of my social medias. I don't like the way I want to move this to be right there. I like that. Okay, yeah, I'm Karen Ann Harlow, so I'm pretty much everything. So, be sure to follow me. I just broke 10,000 followers on Twitter. That's pretty cool. At least I think so. And lastly, as always, if you enjoy the type of content that I produce, please consider supporting me on Patreon at patreon.com/Pink Flame of Liberty. I would really appreciate that as well. As I've said, it's been some lean times. And speaking of support, it is about that time, once again, because Christmas is coming, to promote one of my sponsors, who's Sean Dempsey. But I really do believe in his books, even though I'm not a child. Well, I suppose that's debatable to some people. I have read these two children's books. I don't have children of my own, but I did have a niece and nephew, and I think they would have enjoyed these when they were young. They're both far on their adult years now, but if you would like to teach your children some life lessons without shoving politics down their throat, I highly recommend the two books written by Sean Dempsey. One is Ava in the Storm, and the other is The Tale of Two Brothers. They have adorable illustrations in them that Mr. Grumpy Old Man, he's Mr. Grumpster. So yes, you can find them on Amazon, and you would support a free stater and a fellow libertarian. Okay, we're gonna get right to the show, because I'm gonna try to keep this within reasonable limits. But I did want to let you know, as far as Friday, I normally do an LNC update. I don't think that's what I'll be doing tomorrow. I will probably, I don't know what I'm going to do, but it's probably not going to be an LNC update. Because there's really not that much going on right now. I hate saying this because I don't want to hex us, but for all the just wailing and gnashing of teeth in some quarters, it's funny. We are unperturbed. This is the most peaceful LNC I've been on. And so this will be my 4th term on the LNC, because I used to be Region 1 for 1 term, and this is my 3rd term as secretary. And this is a peaceful LNC. We all genuinely like each other. And I know for all the rumors, there must be. This is what's funny. This says more about other people than it does about us, where these speculations, there must be all of these off-list discussions where they're just coming up with all this stuff and disagreeing because they're just not seeing that much happen on the LNC list. It's because we don't bicker with each other. There's not a bunch of off-list discussions where we're arguing. We don't really argue. And the few times, I said the biggest argument we got in was last meeting over the location of the LNC meeting. That was the scandal. And I think actually that argument had some really good lessons in it, because there were some folks on the LNC who didn't really realize what an imposition it was to have so many LNC meetings on the East Coast, because there was genuine surprise when I suggested New Mexico, and someone looked it up and said, oh my God, it's going to cost me, $650 for plane tickets to go there. And I was like, that's what it costs me every meeting. When you guys plan these for the East Coast, all of us people who are more Western, that's what it costs us every time. And I actually think it was a moment of awakening of the unfairness there really has been for quite some time for the people who are more Western situation. So what was our biggest scandal, our biggest fight of the term, I think actually turned into a big moment of empathy and understanding. So in short, not that much has gone on, but we are having an LNC meeting this weekend. It is our final budget meeting, And afterwards, there's an executive committee meeting. And then I think there'll be some news. So maybe Monday I'll do an LNC update. And if you haven't heard, Angela has had her baby boy Arthur. He is very, very healthy. Hopefully he won't be taking scimitars from watery tarts, lying about in ponds. But Angela and Arthur are healthy, and as far as I know, everything is going great. She says she fully intends upon chairing this weekend's meeting, even if she has to do it from bed with Arthur at her side. Angela's a badass. So Sunday, if you're interested, please come to the LNC meeting. You can get the details. You do need to pre-register. And I am cutting off pre-registrations at a half hour before, because I have to get ready for the meeting. If you're not registered by then, you're going to be watching it live on YouTube unless you're an LNC member. If you're an LNC member, I will scold you. I will scold you with a wet noodle. But yeah, register at least a half an hour ahead of time. I'd really appreciate it if you just registered now, because that saves me some work. All right. I got the Newsweek magazine in. That's what I said I was waiting for from eBay. And that's what we're going to cover this time. We covered that article from the Associated Press. Remember, in our LP news, they said there was 2 major pieces. Now, so I got the Newsweek. Here it is. It's the cover. I always buy the cheapest copy I can find on eBay, so the cover's coming off on this one. But it's dated November 11th, 1974. And again, that's what the cover looked like. Now we can take the cover off, because I showed you what it looked like. But I like getting these not just for the articles on libertarianism, but to just look through them and read some of the articles, because it's just such a time capsule. And in all of these old magazines that I get, like every other ad. Okay, here's the ads that are in a lot of these ads are in everyone. It'll either be an ad for cigarettes, alcohol. There's like an alcohol ad every other page. Stereo equipment and cars. Every 1970s magazine is like that. And go figure, on the back, what's there? An alcohol ad. And the ads, some of them did not age well. We're going to go through the magazine. Before we get to the libertarianism article, we're just going to go through some of the ads for fun. Some of you younger folks might not find this as fun as some of us of a certain vintage who lived through all of this and were like, oh, I remember that, and I remember that. So you're going to have to put up, and hola, Nathan, you're going to have to put up with us old fogies. Just having a little bit of a moment here. Let us have our moment, okay, boom. Just say, okay, boomer. But this ad, I like the copy on it, but it probably didn't age. I forgot to put up my Santa Bunchy that you sent me, Dave. And look, Bunchy, calm down. I will put up Santa Bunchy. I just forgot. But he was spastic for 3 weeks, and for no reason. There he is, grinning away. Okay. But this ad for Chivas Regal Scotch didn't age well. And I hear Scotch ages well, but this ad didn't age well. The ad copy on it says, your cost of living may go up a little, but your standard of living will go up a lot. Really glamorizing the alcohol there, huh? That definite, oh my God, and this is so funny. Inside is an ad for a car. What did I say? It's either stereo, audio, video equipment, cars, alcohol, and cigarettes. And what's on the inside back cover? For a TV. Look at that, with the rabbit ears. But we're gonna I'm gonna show you some. I didn't slow him down. He slowed himself down. I didn't do anything. I swear it happens automatically. But check this out. I don't get this ad. I've been staring at it. It says, get this advanced design telephone from the cigarette with the advanced design filter. What do telephones and cigarettes have anything to do with each other? So, I want to show you this advanced design telephone. And it's rotary dial. What's advanced about that? Because it has a lucite case. Look at that. It's gigantic. It's rotary dial, but you can see the wires, so that makes it advanced design. It's so crazy. So let's see if there's... Oh, here's an ad that did not age well. Let's put this in the not age well. So it's for Shell Oil Company. And this is... I'll read you the ad copy. But it's all Shell out here, out in the wild with nature, okay? And it says, a lot of the water in this beautiful Louisiana bayou comes from a Shell refinery. Oof. Now I know Shell wasn't responsible for the oil spill in the Gulf, but still, well, all that oil that ended up in Louisiana bayous, that let's file that ad under did not age well. But next page, an ad for alcohol. check out these Winnebagos. It reminds me of Escape from Witch Mountain. If any of y'all are old enough to remember that movie, or was it made for TV? Okay. Let's see. We're just flipping some pages here. We'll get to the libertarian stuff. Alcohol again. Oh, God. Here's another one. Oh, no. No. This is different. This is for Virgin Islands. But there's one for another one that didn't age well. I'll show you in a minute. Okay. This is an ad for Bermuda. Okay. With all the controversy over colonization and everything. It's an ad for vacationing at the Holiday Inn in Bermuda. It says George Washington stole here. Thomas More philandered here. Rum was run from here. And you can live it up here. Oof. That did not age well either. Another alcohol ad. Oh, and remember all this? Okay, this is for Time Life Records. Time Life used to have the greatest series. Like, they'd have these series of books, series of records. They might even still produce them for all I know, but this was the Time Life series. Here's another alcohol ad. The Marlboro Man in the middle. Told you, it's all cigarettes and alcohol. The people in the 70s, man. More cars. And there's an article in here I want to read. It says Teddy talks about Chappaquiddick. That's probably interesting. And I didn't know Nixon had to... there's an article in here called Nixon's Fight for His Life, that apparently after the whole Watergate thing, he got really, really sick with something that is usually treatable with drugs, but he had one medical crisis after another. It said what he had was called phlebitis. So that's interesting. So now another cigarette ad. Another car ad. Another alcohol ad. Another alcohol ad. A console TV. Another car. What did I tell you? It's all those 4 categories. It's crazy. Another cigarette ad. Look at these like full spread cigarette ads. You just don't see that anymore. Another car ad. For, look, $4,000 car. More alcohol. Another car. More alcohol. Oh, boy. Audiovisual equipment, like I said. We're getting there. Another, more cigarettes, more cars, alcohol. There's a good Muhammad Ali article in here as well. But except for the cover falling off, this magazine is in remarkably good shape. Another alcohol ad. Now here's one I wanted to show you. I remember this. Remember Howard Johnson's? Look at this little ad. Whoops, right there for Howard Johnson's. We still love those in Florida, but here's what it reads. Stay in a bigger room with a bigger bed and bigger towels. A remote control bedside pamper panel. Ooh, what is that? Double drapes to ensure your privacy. I guess while you're enjoying your remote control bedside pamper panel. And plenty of other big and little things to ensure your comfort. Okay. We are getting there. Oh, the Kelly girl. Remember, it's they were like temporary secretaries. The Kelly girls. I forgot about that. Oh, and there were cigarettes on the other page. More alcohol. Come on now, where's my libertarianism article? Here it is. But right on the other side of the libertarianism article, it looks like an article, an ad for a modem. Now, I know there were mainframes in the 70s. One of my first jobs is I was an inventory control clerk at Service Merchandise, and we had a whole computer room that had to be kept at that really like cold temperature. You had to put on a jacket before you went in there, and the computer took up the whole room. And to boot it, there was like this series of switches. It was like up, up, down, 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 up, 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 and the tapes were like this big. And we had the modem room too. But check this out. So it says on the ad copy, the idea was to let your computer talk to their computer. And then here's a Western Electric, remember them? And this certainly looks like a modem. It's called the Dataphone 4800. No, Service Merchandise isn't still around, but I worked there for like 12 years. I was their bookkeeper and inventory control clerk. So look at that. That certainly looks like a modem to me. If anyone wants to look up Dataphone 4800 by Western Electric, I bet you that was a speedy 12.2. It's probably slower than that. I remember when 14.4 came out. But on the other page, we are finally up to the Libertarianism article. I can assure you the rest of the magazine is all alcohol, cars, and cigarettes. But here's what the article looks like. If you saw the cover photo for the show, I got it from that right there. And if you're wondering what the deal is with the lady in the beige bodysuit, for some reason, libertarian candidates in the 70s loved doing the Lady Godiva thing. Like, she's not the only one to be in like a nude looking bodysuit riding a horse through some city. For some reason, that was the thing. We read about other ones, but anyway. And in the back, there's some libertarian holding a sign that says, let people live their own lives. But I wanted to read you the caption here, because this would just cause some people today to really just go into a tailspin. As I've said before, I don't consider myself particularly conservative. I certainly hold some very distinctive left type views. But, as I said, history doesn't care about your feelings or my feelings. And when the LP came out, we were first reported in emerging new right-wing movements. Cry all you want, those of you who want to cry about such things. Those are the facts. That is history, and history doesn't care about your tears. So, the caption to this article is New York Godiva and Herbert Spencer, conservatives, that's how they were describing libertarians, who believe in fun. Now, do I think that was completely accurate description? No. But the party wasn't throwing a fit over it either. To me, conservatives who want to have fun is just the 1970s version of Republicans who smoke pot. I'm not a big fan, but I'm just saying, if we want to deal with history and facts, it's there. And I've shown you guys a copy of that bumper sticker. Maybe we'll pull it up on Elpedia. Well, you know, I always forget. We might do that right now. Because I love this. I actually have it. It's not in my car. It's in the historical archives. But it was one of those giant. That's what she said. It was one of those giant ones. You know, bumper stickers used to be like, God, I'm just gonna have way too many. Let's just do one. That's what she said, and get it over with.
That's what she said.
Okay. Back then, they were like 12 inches long. I'm not. Stop. Just stop. And I don't know when they got shorter. My God, the jokes are just writing themselves. Oh my God, I don't have a scan of that bumper sticker. How do I not? We have it. I have this bumper sticker. How do I not have a scan of it? It must be just on my desktop somewhere. I was going to show you the scan of this sticker, because I definitely have it. Well, maybe another show I'll bring in the actual sticker so you could see it. It's a super, super cool bumper sticker. Anyway, that bothers me. Huh. Okay, well, get over it. Get over it. Alrighty, so now we're gonna go over the article. Now that we're done with my jokes. Okay. Alright. So, I wanted to first tell you what it said in the index. So this is on page 91. It's under the section of the magazine called Ideas. And this was the article, I believe, that David Nolan thought was a bad article. I can tell you, I haven't read it yet. I skimmed it, and I didn't think it was a bad article, but I haven't read it carefully. Perhaps when I read it, we'll go, oof, yeah. Oh, I'm seeing it in the camera now. I'm not going to get into the TMI of my sickness this week, but let's just say the end result is that I'm terribly dehydrated, and you can like see it in my lips. I'm still all chapped. I'm constantly thirsty. I still haven't gotten completely hydrated. Whereas I'm looking, yep, it's under the section called Ideas, and what it's called in the index is Libertarianism, a New Movement. Okay, so let's go back to page 91. So under Ideas, the title they put here is Every Man for Himself. Now, I don't like that, because that is not what libertarianism is about. So perhaps that's what pissed David Nolan off right from the beginning. It's not every man for himself. But anyway, that's what it says. It says, what sort of candidate for governor of New York? I already love this first sentence. What sort of candidate for governor of New York would challenge his rivals to a game of Monopoly? I fucking love libertarians. tout Chester Alan Arthur as a great president and send a blonde in a body stocking riding Godiva-like along Central Park on a white horse named Taxpayer. Answer: only a politician like Jerry Tuchelli, candidate of the Free Libertarian Party, which hardly believes in government at all. Change hardly to doesn't, and you'll be okay. Let's leave that alone. Tuchelli was an anarchist. I'm pretty certain. Anyone know, was Tuchelli I think he was. Or am I confusing him with the guy who wrote the open letter to Ayn Rand? Roy, my memory has been really losing it too. Who wrote Childs? Am I confusing him with Roy Childs? I thought Tuchelli was an anarchist. Somebody let me know. Tuchelli didn't expect to win the election this week, but his goal, and that of other libertarian candidates across the U.S., is to amass enough votes to assure the fledgling party a permanent line on ballots in at least 15 states. Anarchic as it sounds, as if that's a bad thing, libertarian, that might have gotten David Nolan's goat too, because David Nolan definitely wasn't an anarchist. Libertarianism has surfaced in this election year as an ideology matched to the mood of many disgruntled Americans. The party's slogan, legalize freedom, that is not and never was the party slogan. It's been a slogan that's been used, but it's not the party slogan. The party slogan from the beginning has been the party of principle. We even have a trademark on it. So, whatever, okay. It is, legalize freedom is a slogan we have used, and maybe that was the one they used for the convention that year. I don't know. Gives libertarians a unique appeal to radicals on both the right and the left. Okay, that's nice and fair. Like extreme conservatives, libertarianisms believe in a totally free market economy. Like extreme liberals, they would legalize prostitution, abortion, and the private use of hard drugs. Why did he put private in quotes? And why did he just put use? Our policy has always been full legalization, meaning not just the use, but also the selling. So that's wildly inaccurate there. And by 74, abortion was already legal. Wasn't it? Wasn't Roe versus Wade in 72 or 73? What year was Roe versus Wade? I think it was 73, wasn't it? I'm going to look that up. When was Roe v. Wade? Yeah, January 22nd, 1973. So I don't know why he would mention in here that libertarians want the legalization of abortion when abortion was already legal at this time. That's sloppy. That's weird. And I think in New York, it was already legal prior to Roe versus Wade. And this is about a New York candidate. Okay. Uh-oh. Tuchelli said this, I didn't, don't come at me. This could be why David Nolan didn't like the article. A libertarian is a conservative who believes in letting people have fun, says candidate Tuchelli. I didn't say it. Don't come for me. Our philosophy is pure Thomas Jefferson with a touch of W.C. Fields thrown in for irony. Next subtitle, Potpourri. In point of fact, the libertarian philosophy blends. I could see why he didn't like this article. It's just, I don't think it's very well written. It hops around. And there's some mischaracterization in here. It says libertarian philosophy blends the hedonism of Epicurus. Libertarianism is not hedonism. You can be a hedonistic libertarian, but there's nothing about libertarianism itself that is hedonistic. It says you can be, you can also cannot be. So, no. Like, no. Okay. The hedonism of Epicurus, this is a terrible article. The 19th century social Darwinism of Herbert Spencer. We are not social Darwinists. Oh my God, that's horrible. Okay, I could see. No. I really must have not been feeling well when I skimmed this. The radicalism of Thomas Paine. Okay, fine there. The objectivism of Ayn Rand. No, we don't. No. Like, there were objectivists in the party, but the party was not. But maybe, okay, I'll give them a pass on that one because there was a lot of objectivists. But by November of 74, most of them were gone. This is after Murray Rothbard got involved in the party. It's after the Dallas Accord, which objectivists do not like anarchists. And once the Dallas Accord happened and the party was fully welcoming to anarchists, a lot of objectivists left. So I don't even want to read the rest of this. This is terrible. Okay. The misanthropy. Who is this guy? Kenneth Woodward? You fucking suck. You suck. Okay. But we're going to read it. The misanthropy of H.L. Mencken, the laissez-faire economics of Friedrich A. von Hayek. He wasn't laissez-faire. Hayek was not laissez-faire. But fine, I'll take Hayek. And the antic anarchism of the early Abby Hoffman. Yes, you are fake news! Through numerous books and manifestos, a monthly journal called Reason with a circulation of 12,000, and a string of 24 freedom newsletters published in 9 states, libertarians have managed to meld this intellectual potpourri into a fashionably plausible rationale for permitting everyone to do his own thing. On economics, most libertarians are extreme conservatives. They would deregulate the economy by eliminating all government regulatory agencies and, in the long run, all taxes too. Now that is accurate. They would stop all government subsidies to agriculture, true. Business, the arts, and education, true. They would abolish all tariffs and import quotas, true. Unlike most conservatives, says Manuel Klausner, most people know him as Manny, 35, editor of Reason, libertarians would not only use the rhetoric of free enterprise, they would also apply it. Socially, this is a bad article, but we'll read it. Socially, libertarians would abolish all laws protecting children, women, children, minorities. No, women are adults. And if you're talking about like discrimination laws and things like that, yes, women don't need special laws protecting them. Women are a category of human beings, I hate to tell you, Kenneth Woodward, and laws protecting human beings protect women too. Sorry if you didn't know this before, Mr. Man. Really, we would abolish all laws protecting children. Really, like, you could kill your kids, you could experiment on them, you could feed them to your dog. You're an idiot, Kenneth. But if by that he means like certain child labor laws, and I know people are thinking of the concrete jungle and stuff like that, but yes, there are certain child labor laws that we were in favor of abolishing. Not factory work. And never mind, I'm not even going to get into it. And minorities. So it seems like with the way he grouped in minorities, what he's talking about is Civil Rights Act, private Civil Rights Act stuff. And that's absolutely true. That is absolutely true. But the way he worded it, like, made it sound like like we wanted to reopen, like, the slave trade or something. Like, my God. And remove all controls over land use. False. You can't use your land in a way that infringes upon someone else's rights. So, like, if your land, you were doing something that made your land a stinking sewer, that stinkiness then polluted the air of adjoining land, then yeah, that could be restricted. I mean, I'm just pulling out an example, maybe not the most plausible one, but just to give you the point. So most controls, yes. They are opposed to censorship in any form. True. And like radical leftists, they would abolish all legal penalties for victimless crimes such as pornography, gambling, and attempted suicide. True. Politically, was there ever, I'm just curious, was there ever a penalty for attempted suicide in the 70s? Like, that just... Is attempting to kill yourself a crime? Do they charge you with attempted murder if you attempt to kill yourself? Because it doesn't say assisted, which then would make sense. I don't know. Somebody will have to tell me. Sir, you didn't succeed in killing yourself, so we're going to throw you in jail. Aren't you glad you failed? Oof. Okay. That'll make you feel better and want to live. Politically, libertarians would not eliminate parties, but they would leave little government for politicians to run. Among themselves, however, libertarians are split between minarchists, such as John Hospers, 55, a write-in candidate for governor of California, and anarcho-capitalists, such as theoretician Murray Rothbard. Oh, I didn't post a picture yet. Let me finish this sentence and we're going to come back to that. A professor of economics at Brooklyn Polytechnic Institute. And notice he didn't mention objectivists because most of them had left by then. But I'm glad he got that right. Pretty much are a minarchist / anarcho-capitalist party. But what I wanted to tell you is when I was in Virginia, Paul Bracco took me on a treat. This might not be a treat to some people. Some of you will know from prior shows. I'm just one of those wacky people that love going to graveyards, particularly old ones, because there's a lot of history there. It's not because I've got some kind of like morbid fascination with like dead things or anything like that. I just find the history of memorials and things like that very, very interesting. I know a lot. Not a lot as much as other people, but probably more than the average person about burial traditions and graves and things like that. So I love going to graveyards, particularly older ones. Now, so they took me to one. It wasn't particularly old, but they took me to visit the grave of Murray Rothbard. So I did not know he was buried in Virginia with his wife. So I'll have to post that. But I do have a picture of the very plain, flush with the ground grave marker of Murray Rothbard. But Paul and his wife said they had visited it the year before, and they left there, secured because it was a windy day down with rocks, a Mises Caucus t-shirt, and some buttons. So when we went back there, the shirt was still there. Now, it's a moldy, soggy, it was nasty. So they folded it up neatly and still left it. But that was pretty cool that the shirt was still there. But each time they go, they pull the grass away and tidy it up. But anyway, I'll have to, I am going to put on Elpedia that picture of Murray Rothbard's grave marker. Okay. It says, minarchists would retain enough social machinery, such as courts and police, to staff a night watchman government. You know nothing, Jon Snow. That could protect citizens from violent crime. The anarchists want no government at all, not even an onshore militia to protect against foreign invaders. That is inaccurate. Guess because he doesn't understand anarchism. If you mean no onshore government militia, but this guy has been indoctrinated very well, who thinks a militia requires a government. It does not. It'd be more like guerrilla warfare, but no. People would organize into militias. That's what people do. Human beings have been doing that for ages. Okay, next subtitle. Pay as you go. But all libertarians promote voluntarism as the key to a new society of free individualists. In their utopia. If you want to hear the refutation of the whole utopia argument, become a patron. Patreon.com/Pink Flame of Liberty. I went through that in my little discussion of the last chapter. That it isn't the last chapter of the book, but the last one I went over of Michael Huemer's book, The Problem of Political Authority. And he made short work of it. And I'm going to need to do a little drop down for it. Just a reminder to you guys. All super chats matter. Okay. Now I lost my spot. Oh, here we go. The utopia. Environmentalists would band together to counter pollution. No, you would be able to seek redress because, oh God, I'm just going to read it. You guys, consumers would organize to fight ripoffs. No, you could sue for that too. My Lord. And say the anarchists, property owners would unite to pay for their private police and fire departments. At least that one's accurate. The poor would be cared for by private charity. And parents would hire teachers for their children. Or teach them themselves, like a shit ton of them do today. Or, before there was a public school system, churches and other benevolent societies, but what I mean by that is like fraternal organizations and things like that, would provide schooling. We believe in a voluntary society, says Jim Dean, executive editor of the Santa Ana Register in California, a freedom newspaper, in which people who want a service pay for the service they get. Radical as it sounds, libertarianism at least has the virtue of consistency, a quality that is winning it converts from the grays of political moderation. Before 1969, I knew every libertarian, says Rothbard. There were 20 of us. And I'm sure the 19, each one of them told the other 19 they weren't real libertarians. Today, the two-year-old party claims 5,000 dues-paying members, many of them dropouts from both the Young Americans for Freedom and the hippies. National Party Chairman Ed Crane III, 30, who broke into politics as a Goldwater organizer, is aiming for 1 million presidential votes in 1976. There are millions of closet libertarians out there, Crane claims. Precious few of them are in Congress. according to the Royce report, the party's scorecard on members of Congress, the highest Libertarian rating in the House goes to Iowa Republican H.R. Gross, who once questioned the cost of the eternal flame on John F. Kennedy's grave. Some prominent men in government actually acknowledge lowercase libertarian leanings. Oh, by the way, I heard one of the talking heads on Newsmax tonight. I'm telling you, when I come home and just watch that for like 20 minutes, I should just set up my camera. Because I think I could do a comedy show of me just watching Newsmax. Because all that happens is me yelling and screaming and ranting and raving. And Wayne's like, why do you watch this? It just makes you mad. So I'm watching it. I think it was the Rollins report or something like that. And they're talking about, he's got this preacher on. And I was getting so angry at this. I'm not going to question his Christianity by saying alleged Christian. But I was getting so furious. And then the guy, the Newsmax MAGA Republican guy, is like, as a libertarian. And I was like, fuck you. Fuck you. What? And I just lost it. I lost my shit. Like, I literally lost my shit and had to find it again. Wayne's like, settle down. Settle down. Because I'm like, no, the first thing I said was, no, you didn't. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. Oh, my God. What's the show? I think it's called the Rollins Report, isn't it? So they're claiming that the Neuralink thing that Elon Musk is inventing is like the mark of the beast and the Antichrist and all this stuff. And I'm about to just lose my crap. And I know a lot of Christians are going to fall for that. And if you're a Christian out here and that's what you believe, all I can tell you is, please read my book. You might still think what you think, but I would love the opportunity to change your mind. If you don't know, I wrote a book on eschatology. 98% of the events that Christians think are in the future, like the Antichrist and the mark of the beast and all that, has already happened. It's talking about the fall of Jerusalem in AD 70. It is not talking about the future. That doesn't mean there can't be, type and anti-type and all that. But the direct prophecy was about the past. It wasn't the past when it was a prophecy. But the vision of the future in the Bible is not doom and gloom. I don't think I could be a libertarian if I believed that. Oh my God. Okay. Contact me offline if you're interested in reading a copy of my book. As far as I know, it's still required reading in an eschatology class at Liberty University. So anyway, on one hand, they're talking about how allegedly this Neuralink thing will be able to help blind people, even people who are blind from birth, actually be able to see. And this damn preacher was like saying, no, that's terrible. That's playing God. It's appointed once for a man to die, and after that, the judgment. Dude, if you were going to argue like that, you could argue like that against every medical advance. And I'm not trying to get into vaccine crap here. If you don't like all vaccines, chill, okay? But smallpox was eradicated through vaccination. So I guess you think we should have just lived with smallpox. And pick any medical advance if you don't like that. Insulin, whatever it might be. You're playing God. I don't know. I think it's a damn good thing if we can come up with a medical intervention that will allow blind people to see. Call me crazy, but I think that's rather good. I would welcome that. It's easy for you, guy with two perfectly good eyes and very good health, to say, nope, that's playing God. That's just too far. Though I bet if you had a problem with your heart and you needed a pacemaker, you'd get it. I was so angry. Okay. Sorry, went on my rant there. But again, if y'all are interested in a point of view that says most of the prophecies that Christian thinks are quote-unquote end times, actually refer to the past. Just hit me up. It's actually an ancient point of view. All right. Let me continue here. All right. Where was I at? Okay, lowercase. Okay, among them are California Governor Ronald Reagan and Supreme Court Justice William Rehnquist, both of whom have allied themselves in recent speeches with libertarian efforts to reduce the scope of government. At the White House, Alan Greenspan, chairman of the President's Council of Economic Advisors, espouses parts of the libertarian line. I am sympathetic to their basic position, but I am not a joiner, says Greenspan. I welcome any movement in our society that seeks to reduce the power of the state. If libertarianism has a political future, it may lie with the growing sentiment against government. The general disillusionment with government, says conservative columnist William Buckley, is long overdue. Libertarianism is political poetry and terribly appealing, but poetry cannot be confused with real life. New leftish columnist Nicholas von Hoffman, however, believes the times are ripe for a decentralist party. Isn't that the guy who wrote the column we thought was good? For the overtaxed, overregulated, overburdened, and underpowered millions of the American middle class, he says, the libertarians are the only people worth voting for. To some libertarians, however, no one is worth voting for. One subgroup called the League of Non-Voters, that is pretty awesome, the League of Non-Voters, wants every ballot to include a line enabling citizens to opt for none of the above. So I could see why he thought this was a terrible article. Overall, it had some good parts in it, but it was terrible. Now, Nathan, I'm not directly anti-transhumanist, but I personally can't abide the chimerism coming out of gene therapy research. It looks too similar to a reemergence of the Nephilim. You and I probably will not agree there, but again, I'm very openly a Christian liberal. I don't take a lot of that kind of stuff literally. So I don't believe in the giant half angel, half human Nephilim people, whatever you want to call it. And that's cool if you do, but there's whatever, you know. I'm not an inerrantist in that respect, and I'm a very, very liberal Christian. Didn't used to be. And now if you're worried about reading my work on eschatology, I was a fundamentalist when I wrote it. But though I wouldn't agree with every single thing I wrote in that book today, certainly do agree with the interpretation of the passages, because they're fairly clear. The Bible nearly exhausted the Greek language in using words that meant something that was going to happen within the lifespan of the people reading it then. Soon, near, at hand, quickly. This generation shall not pass away. There are some standing here who shall not taste death. If it's my will that he lives until I come. Exhausted the Greek language in order to pound it into people's heads that the event being talked about was going to happen within decades, not millennia, and people still got it wrong. So anyway, all right. I agree with David Nolan. that article was bad. So we'll see what I'm going to cover tomorrow. Not too sure. Probably be another history thing because I do need to catch up after being... what was I trying to say? Like, words aren't coming out all the way. Being out of commission, I guess, this past week. I do hope to see you at the LNC meeting if I don't see you in my shows tomorrow and Saturday. And otherwise, I hope you have an awesome night. I need to start doing clips of Newsmax. I'm telling you, I will just lose my mind. All right, y'all. Bye-bye. I need to go get something to drink. And I don't mean alcohol. I mean, like, water.
What you're given, that's how we live it. Don't be mad at the system, it's simply how we've existed. I hear a lot of people talking like they politicians and choose to be an accountant because it's safe in the business, not because they want